Hello, welcome back. As always, thank you for joining me here today. And again, as always, for your dedication and your commitment to your practice, which is huge. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. So, the Course talks about all things that we think are our reality: space, time, the physical body, the world itself, all of these ideas and concepts that appear to govern our lives here, the Course just says it's illusion. It's illusion. It never was, which on first hearing can seem rather weird. And perhaps you felt that way if you're hearing all of this for the first time, that there is no world. Yeah, exclamation point. That's the central teaching of A Course in Miracles. And quite naturally, we'll say quite a bit more about that. And in fact, the Course is over 1,000 pages long, well over that. In fact, when you add up all of the main components plus the supplements to it, because it says the same things over and over in so many words, because you never know what presentation is going to hit. You could hear the exact same words 1,000 times, and on that 1,000th time, you get it. You don't actually know. And as adult learners, we need repetition because we're convinced that there is a world. We're convinced that it is spherical, that it's solid, and that it's home sweet home. And we're convinced that this little device here is us. The human body, frail, subject to all kinds of decomposition and decay. We're convinced this is who we really are, and everything else is real. It's our real life. Hmm. Good thing that's not actually the case. And it appears to be the case. We're taught it's the case. We're taught that our ideas of bodies and worlds and planets and space and time are real, real, and real. And why should we ever raise that supposed reality to question? We're not invited to growing up. However, here you are interested in spirituality, and I mean spirituality in general, much less A Course in Miracles, which will help you cut right through all of the drama, should you wish to go there. Okay, good, you're still here. Space and time are complete illusions, and here in the text of A Course in Miracles, we look at chapter 26, section 5 today. This is one of those passages that talks about time from a standpoint of what it really is: nothing. What we're actually doing when we think that we're a physical body and we look out at what appears to be the world outside is we're looking at the past. And we want the past to be real to us, so we make it so. Yet deep down, we're all on the spiritual path because somewhere at some point we have formulated the thought or a recognition, or perhaps you got a hunch or an intuitive hit that there's more to it than simply meeting the needs of communication device. And quite naturally, there's a lot more to it. I mean, you're on the spiritual path, after all. So you've recognized this. That cannot possibly be stated often enough. Every single person that you see interested in spirituality has formulated the thought that there's more to it than just the bod and meeting its needs so it can be as comfortable as it can be for however long it has on wobbling spinning ball of rock before it goes bye-bye and utterly loses its umph and decomposes. Hmm. You know that there's more to it than that. So let's go there, shall we? Look past the surface level. What we think of as the world was, in fact, over long ago. It's gone. This supposed separation from God never happened. The one mistake, i.e., the thought of separation, the thought that we could possibly be separate from the only reality. I mean, think about that. If God's the only reality, which He is, how can we be separate from Him if He's the only reality? I mean, make that make sense that we could possibly be separate. We're not, never were. So, here in chapter 26, section 5, in some very, very poignant and beautiful language, the Course talks about the fact that this one mistake and the correction of that mistake were given instantaneously. One mistake, one correction, given instantaneously long ago. And that little blip is pretty much just a little blip. It was instantaneous and so short lived that not one note of heaven's song was missed. That's a direct quote here from chapter 26, section 5, and it's often quoted. You'll see it in many other places. If you haven't seen it before, now you're going to see it again and again. You're welcome. Not one note of heaven's song was missed. In other words, this tiny mad thought was so brief and instantaneous that it was over with the instant it began. And not one note of heaven's song was missed. So, when we're taught here that the separation never occurred, that is true. It's impossible. Mad idea, correction, instant, boom. We're perfectly at home where we've always been, in God. And this world, this wobbling, spinning ball of rock populated by bodies, is a dream. That's what it is. So let's talk about the practice of true forgiveness because we're looking at the past. And every time we see ourselves as separate from our brother and choose to condemn and blame our brother and ourselves, because your brother is you, no separation of any kind. Yeah. So every time we do this, we're choosing to remain in the past, to see the past. We're choosing not to see things as they really are. Now, this course exists here in the dream, apparently, because we need it here in the dream. It is here so that we may learn to see things as they really are. The number one mechanism by which we do that is the practice of forgiveness, of true forgiveness, where we look past the surface level to truth, to the essence of what really is. And forgiveness is our recognition that the separation never happened. So when our brother appears to be doing something that aggrieves us or gives us pause or offends us or makes us irate. Here in the dream, nothing really happened. We're forgiving people and ourselves and events for what they did not do. Really. None of this ever took place. We're waking up to that. This is a very good reason why enlightenment or liberation, realizing God, is known as awakening. It's a completely appropriate term here. That is what we're doing, waking up from a dream. Every time we forgive, we're recognizing this was over long ago. This was over with long ago. This was over with long ago. We're looking at the past, and when we forgive, we're in the present, letting it go. We're letting the past go. We're releasing the past. Forgive and release. We're releasing the past and the burden that we've placed on our mind. We can unburden ourselves, and forgiveness is the means that's given us to do just that. Hence the course's emphasis. It's very, 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 very strong emphasis on forgiveness, which is not the way the world sees forgiveness at all. The way the world sees forgiveness is completely backwards and doesn't really work. I mean, it maintains a sense of separation in most cases because one person who stoops to somebody else's supposed different, inferior level lords over the person that, oh, I've forgiven you this time. And it maintains a sense of separation because most often the person doing the supposed forgiving feels superior to the lowly little low-life scum that they've forgiven. And the supposed low-life scum is often made to feel like just that, a supposedly low-life, inferior form of life, a little miscreant or something. And a sense of separation is very firmly maintained, often for years and years and years. That's the way the world sees forgiveness as transactional. Well, in something that's transactional, say in relationships or the business world, there appear to be two separate entities transacting business. Well, there's no separation of any kind. What you're doing when your brother says something or does something that gives you pause is you're forgiving the content, the projections of your own mind. You're forgiving yourself. Your brother is you. So forgive, forgive, forgive. All of this was over long ago. It appears to be happening right now. So, because it appears to be happening, we need true forgiveness. And if you're going there, in terms of the actual meaning of this, in truth, there is nothing to forgive because we've never left our source. Ideas leave not their source. We're the thought of God. We've never left our source. Capital S, please. Thank you. We've never left our source. So, in truth, yeah, there's nothing to forgive. While we appear to be here, we forgive every single thing that crosses our path, every single little item that is not wholly joyous. You don't have to forgive a beautiful sunset that uplifts you. That's symbolic of our own beauty and limitlessness and radiance as the Christ. The Christ, singular, the Son of God. Oh, and by the way, all inclusive. Christ does not simply refer to the historical Jesus alone. That would be a separation. He is teaching us there is no separation of any kind. And Jesus is, in fact, the one who dictated this course. He's giving the course to us. And he says it's all inclusive. He knows what he's talking about. Huh. Yeah, exactly. So we're invited to follow him, follow our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit, Jesus, same. Forgive, forgive, and forgive. We're recognizing that none of this ever took place, never happened. None of this ever happened and we were never here. Yeah, none of this ever happened and I was never here. This is a pixelated image on your screen. It's an assemblage of electronic dots. It's the Holy Spirit that's doing the talking, always, always, especially when something connects and lands. And I hope that many things have connected and landed here in the past few minutes. That's the point. I mean, you'll know when you hear it. We always do. Anytime, anytime in life, we don't even have to be engaged in a spiritual talk or a workshop or watching a video or reading anything spiritual. When something connects for us, it's the Holy Spirit. That's especially true here. So when the camera and microphone go on, for these videos, I have no idea what's going to land for you. But chances are more than one thing has hit home, so to speak, over the past few minutes. You'll know what that is, and you're invited to listen to and ask for the guidance of your inner teacher, and he'll tell you what to do with it, what to say, what to think, to whom, where to go, if anywhere, he may tell you. Sit right where you are and forgive the projections of your own mind. Forgive all the content of your own mind. What's the raw material for that? A lot. Anything that is not wholly and completely joyous, anything at all that is not totally joyous is, in fact, the raw material for our forgiveness. Forgive it. As soon as you become aware that you're upset, forgive what appears to make you upset. It is the projection of your mind. Now, here in the dream, you may have to keep yourself safe. Do that. Understand the course is not about effecting change on the level of form. Remember, there is no world. So the course isn't about you getting a bigger house or a more secure house or whatever. It's not about money at all. It's not about what the popular spiritual crowd these days refers to as manifestation of objects in the material world. It's not, nothing against that. This isn't what that's about. A Course in Miracles is about the mind. It's about changing our mind. So we do what we normally would do here in the world. If forgiving somebody means you have to not call them and protect yourself from them here on the level of form, do that. Forgiveness is done in the mind. The other person doesn't have to know you're doing it. You don't have to call somebody up and say, hey, I forgive you. Your behavior has been abusive and egregious, and I can't put up with it anymore, but hey, it's okay. But no, you forgive in your own mind. The other person doesn't have to know you're doing it. What you're doing in your own mind is the important part. So keep whatever is in place in your normal life here in the world in place. You just don't have to believe in its concrete reality. This course addresses the mind that thinks it's split from God. That's why this course appears to exist, because we appear to need it. When our forgiveness is complete, truth dawns of itself. We have no more need for forgiveness at that point. And along the way, we recognize there's nothing in truth to forgive. We've never left our source. There's no course either. So this course will eventually render itself completely obsolete and unnecessary, which is great. But while we appear to be here, I invite you to delve into it and to practice true forgiveness and to please ask any questions should you have them. It is very, very important, and something that the spiritual path does is it kicks up lots of questions. If you have them, please feel welcome to leave them here. And I do check out the comment thread. I take a look at them very, very frequently. So I will notice and I will speak to those questions. And if you just wish to pop in and say hello, please do that. I'd love to hear from you. Oh, and please subscribe if you haven't. prompt is over here. That's the icon in the corner of your screen. Click that. Join us. It's a growing international community. And well, we talk about A Course in Miracles. And as adult learners, we need the repetition. So I'll see you again here very soon. Okay. Thank you very much for joining me.